Hello, welcome back. It is another weekly vlog. For those of you that are new here, my name is Kristen Langford and I am a pre-K teacher in Florida. And this week's theme is Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. So it's already Wednesday. I'm working on it. I'm working on getting some breaks in. Right now it is lunchtime again and I was able to actually walk away, but our other para is finally getting processed for real on Friday. So hopefully I'll have a lot more time to actually get on here and do some vlogging. But for now, I know you saw in the beginning of the video some of the things we've been doing. I'm gonna go through and I'm going to explain our centers first. That way I don't forget to like clean it or like forget to leave stuff out and I clean it all up and then forget to show you guys. I'm gonna get better at that. And then if I have time, I will show you some of the other things that we're doing around the room. Well, before I show you our small groups, I did want to show you that I finally got our curriculum. Not the full curriculum. This is just our social emotional curriculum of second step. And I haven't even had time to open it. And then it also, the district did this part. They gave us all these books, read alouds that go with the curriculum. And then a box, here we go, of fidgets from Amazon, and then there's even down there some paper, like copy paper and cardstock. So super exciting and a really nice bin. Actually, a funny story about our new stuff here. My head custodian was walking in with like a cart, and we were in small groups, and I was like, "Whoa, curriculum!" Like just like that, like probably a little too crazy. And then walking in right behind him was like our district level like pre-K person, you know, like I know her, but she doesn't really know me that well. And she's like, ooh, like, no. And I was like, oh no, was I too loud? But she was like, it's not all the curriculum. And I was like, oh, it's fine. It's the social emotional. We can celebrate any kind of curriculum that we get. So it was just a little funny because then I made all the kids like give a round of applause because we were so excited that we got some stuff. They had no idea what I was excited about, but nonetheless, the good news was I was in small group when she came walking through the classroom. So that's always a plus to show that we are moving and grooving. All right, small group, let me show you. For my table for math, I'm gonna go through math, and a lot of you guys are wondering like a deeper in-depth video about small groups, and I'm gonna get that for you guys. Right now I'm just gonna go through our activities, but I'll do a whole video on how I run my small groups, how long they last, what types of activities I put in there, how we rotate it, all those things. But right now I'm just gonna tell you what we're doing during those small groups. So in my group for math, I have this count and cover. And my highest group was able to do it because I went to higher numbers. So we did it independently, and what they do is they have these cards that have coconuts. We counted the coconuts, and then I have these little, I think they're called like lotto, bingo, something, I don't know, they're clear. And so we put them on the matching number. My group like right under that was also able to do this. They got a little confused on 11 and 12, but overall they were fine. So then my third group, because they're all differentiated, I have 4 different groups. My third group, we had to do one at a time. So like I let them, you know, whoever's turn it was, they got to count it, and then we all looked for the number to see if any of us could find it. And then if I had to help them, I would help them. And then my lowest group, I don't really like to say that, they're the youngest, but they worked on just a 1-to-1. And so we didn't even pull out the palm tree. We used these coconuts, and I gave them the red circles, and they worked on putting red circles just on top. It was kind of more play, but just following directions in general. And so one of them like loved it, did it all, and then I was able to help him count the red circles, and then we took them off and got a new one. The other one, that skill in itself of putting one on was a little more challenging. I got him to do it one time, and then the other times he was like trying to just knock all the things off. And so then I let him play for a little bit, and then I said, okay, put this away, let's do it again. So just giving those frequent breaks, you know? Okay, then the other group for Miss Sam, her group, she did 2 different activities because some of these activities go kind of fast. One of the activities are these trees. This is actually, I made this product. I think I posted it. If I posted it, I'll put the link in the description. It's just some very simple literacy and math games that have Chicka Chicka Boom Boom thing. I'm talking like super simple, nothing drastic. So anyways, it's a palm tree, and it has a coconut on it with the number. And so I have these little letters that I got from Amazon, I believe. They have holes in them, and so you're supposed to like string words. I used it in first grade to make sight words, but obviously we don't have that here. So we're just using them for letters, and so whatever number it is, they had to put that many letters on the palm tree. So as you can see, with 4 kids in there, that'll go fast even if they trade. And the other activity is also part of that product that I made, and it has the palm tree, and they have to count how many letters are on the tree and then put the clothespin to match the number. So since they're kind of like short and sweet, it only goes to 10. Both of those only go to 10. We wanted to make sure we had more than one activity for them to do. She'll differentiate that based on which kids are in which group. Obviously the ones that were working on the one-to-one here, they might have been doing something a little different, just like playing with the letters, and she was talking about how many letters are on the thing, stuff like that. Okay, then Miss Whitney's group is, my plan is to make it like a worksheet type, like writing something to build the muscles type activity, not really like a game. And so this is from Little Monkey Printables, and I just had it in my files, so I can't really link it for you, but you can maybe look up that webpage. And it's just a review of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. My worksheets that I was doing the past 2 weeks, I feel like, you know, worksheets already aren't always the best, you know, like they still need practice with it because they're going to be exposed to it. It's not the most fun, so I don't want to do like the same worksheet over and over. Got to keep them engaged. So anyways, they just had to count the number of objects, circle the number, write the number at the bottom, and then they got to color. Easy peasy. This is where it gets a little more complicated. Our literacy small groups. So I have Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to give you the literacy centers that we rotated through for those 2 days. And then Wednesday, Thursday, today's Wednesday, those literacy centers. So I'll start with my group of what I did on Monday and Tuesday. For my group, I was focusing on my literacy focus this week was author and illustrator, and like front cover, back cover, and spine. So I decided we weren't really going over it that much during whole groups. I decided to do a guided reading book in our small group. And my highest group, they are ready to read. Like some of them are already reading. Some of them are like able to sound out a word. I mean, they don't know all the words by any means, but anyway, so we read the book. We did all those things, and then we like pointed and we read and we talked about what the character did, all that kind of stuff. So that was like I was teaching kindergarten or first grade actually. And then my other groups, we just talked about what the author does, what the illustrator does. We pointed to where the words are. We pointed to where the picture is. We counted the words. We talked about which page we read first when we open the page. We looked at the picture and talked about what they were doing, and you know, all of those skills that aren't really like reading, but were pre-reading skills. And even so both of my middle groups, they were able to do that task. My other friends, what I did is I let one of them play with like a toy that they were interested in, and then I had the other one sit with me in the rocking chair, and we read a social story together. So we were practicing just like listening to a story, not, you know, doing a non-preferred task, and just staying in the area. Gradually I want to release them from the rocking chair and have them sit in front of me, and I hold the book like teacher style instead of being like very on them, but right now they need me on them. And then they switched, so then I like, oh, good job, now you can go play. And then the other one that doesn't, one of the friends, he will work for like first then, so I'll say first we're gonna listen to the story, then go to the toys. The other one, he doesn't, he just wants to do whatever he wants. So he's not quite to the first then yet. We're gonna get him there, so he's fine with like playing with the toys and then being like, all right, let's go over here. Like, it doesn't matter which one he does first, he's not gonna like it. So anyways, we'll rotate through that. Eventually, maybe I'll get both of them to listen to a story at the same time. Okay, so that's what I did for Monday, Tuesday. For Miss Sam's group, hers is an alphabet center, and she made like super quick. Like, it's literally taped on there, a palm tree, and these are just magnetic letters, and they're all mixed up. And she like wrote their name on a whiteboard, and they had to build their name at the top of the palm tree. Obviously that didn't take that long, so then they put it back down, and then they could try to build their friend's name. Or I did hear her saying something like, oh, put the letters in order of the alphabet. So I'm very lucky that Miss Sam can know that it's like an alphabet activity, and here's kind of a general idea, and she can extend it how she sees fit. And then for Miss Whitney's group, she's not here usually during that time. She's getting processed though. It's like a writing group is my plan. So we'll do our fine motor journals during that time. But then I also want to do like a fine motor, like hand building, some kind of activity like that in the beginning. So what I did, since nobody's there to help them, I just pulled out these little snowflakes from Amazon. They're kind of small, so we got to keep an eye on some of them, not to put it in their mouth. But you really have to use your muscles to push them together. And so I just had them, this was definitely probably my personal child. I don't think anybody in this class made this, but I had them pick a color and they just had to build a wand and see how high they could build it. So just building those hand muscles through play, but they are working, they don't even know it. And then the other group is computer. Okay, it's kind of a lot. That's Monday, Tuesday. Now, Wednesday, Thursday, we switch it. It's still the same 4 groups, but we do different activities. So in my group, I'm doing I did these last year too, and they're amazing. It's these name papers. It is from Sweet Sensations. I'll try to link it down below from you. It's a freebie. It does take a little bit of work because you have to type in your students' names, and then you type in like each letter, and it builds the little paper for you. So we had them circle their name at the top, like recognize their name. Then they had to trace their name, and then they tried to write their name on their own with pencil. And then we found the letters with crayon and colored the pictures. So I have some of them hanging up already. So I had my highest group today. They nailed it. They did great with it. And then my other group, my friends that are learning how to stay at an area, what I did with them, actually you can see it right here, is I wrote their name on a white paper, and I was just working with them on doing dots. Obviously we wanted them to do it on the line, but we're not there yet. And so honestly, we're working on staying in an area and doing an activity that might not be your favorite, you know? And it went pretty well. So still name related. They're not quite ready for writing their own name yet, and that's okay. All right, what else? Let's see. Miss Sam's group is doing this Chicka Chicka Boom Boom game from Lakeshore. So it just has little baggies of letters, and they just match the letter to their tree, uppercase and lowercase. And then Miss Whitney's group, like I said, is the fine motor. So we did the game, but then now this rotation is the fine motor journals, and our district gives us like a emergent writing skill to work on. And so the skill is drawing circles, which is what they did. So some of them, they could just do circles, small circles, big circles, however they wanted. Some of them, we did it in yellow, and then they had to trace the circles, and it went well. They're really liking that. And that's it for small group. Look at that. Got it all done. So like I said, I'll do a longer video to really explain and like show you guys maybe more of what that looks like, because I know some people are still a little like, okay, I know the activities you're doing, but I don't understand how it like goes and how it runs in your room. Okay, I have 4 minutes. I'm gonna eat a little bit, and then I will be back on either after school today or tomorrow during lunch. Hi. Hello, it is Thursday. I have maybe 10 minutes. That's actually a long time to talk on here for you guys. And I wanted to go over our social emotional. We finally got that curriculum in, but this week I wasn't really using that curriculum. Our standard that we were hitting is emotions, and so we talked about just happy and sad so far. So we did the emotion song on YouTube. It's actually like very slow and calming, but the kids loved it. It was very long too. So I'll try to tag that down below too. I'm trying to get better at giving you guys the resources down below. But then we read a story about happy is and sad is, and it's on that MyOn program. And then today we read a story called Little Monkey Calms Down, and it just talked about like taking deep breaths, things like that. Tomorrow we're gonna actually go over the Calm Down Center that we have set up. It's pretty much ready to go. I bought a new resource from TPT. I'll link that down below too. And I really, really like it. I think that it's gonna be better than just like the poster that comes with our curriculum that I have to laminate. It's not even hung up yet. But let me show you that. Okay, so we have the same chair as usual. I have these buckets here. I had them sorted in a, you know, for some in the very beginning, but they just keep getting mixed up. I have a kid who comes over and like dumps things out, so it is what it is. Lots of choices here. Still have my favorite little octopus. And then this is the resource that I bought. So the first thing it comes with, you could print this full page, but I just made it small page. Like I think it was half, like 2 pages on one. and it's a book, so I just have it hooked up here. Tomorrow I'm gonna read this book with my class, and it just goes through the steps, ooh, the lamination of calming down. So it talks about, like, you know, sometimes you get upset and it's okay. What can we do? We can calm down. First thing that you can do is decide how you're feeling, and then I posted the feeling chart right here with the pictures. And down here it gives the steps that this book is about to go through. So first is feeling, and then after you talk about how you're feeling, you can take 3 deep breaths. You can choose how to breathe. So over here, bring this down. Obviously we've been using it, so it's not quite on the right one. These are the breathing techniques that we have learned so far that they can choose from. And then after they breathe and they feel calm, then they can decide what else they need to do to calm down. So this is their example, but the resource, you get to pick which ones like you want. And what we did, I just printed them separately and then like glued them on. They're kind of a little bigger than what the thing is, but it's fine. So they can take more breaths, which actually I thought, I don't know if they really need this, but one of the kids that came over here was like, I want to calm down by doing more breathing. And I was like, okay, they can get a fidget, they can have a drink of water, they can just sit for a minute. We have a bubble machine thing, kaleidoscope. These are things that I actually have already. So they choose how they calm down. And then after they feel calm, they are ready to solve their problem. And so the last page, same thing, you get to pick what you want to put here for ideas for solving. So these, obviously they're not going to know how to do all of these yet, but we're going to work on the teacher coming over and talking about them and, you know, picking a way to solve it. So hearing what the problem is, and then they can tell their friend to please stop. They can tell the friend how they're feeling. They could share, you know, if they had to calm down because they weren't sharing. They can ignore if something is going on. Taking turns, play with someone else, lots of different options. But we've already had the chair, we've had the talks about it all, but I just feel like this is such good visuals for them, and I think it will really help when they need to calm down. Okay, so then past that, this week is Chicka Chicka Boom Boom week, so I'm gonna show you some of our fun Chicka Chicka Boom Boom activities. The first one is the Art Center. Here's what the kids have made so far. They have the trunk, they have stickers that I'll show you over there too. And then these are just cupcake liners that we cut, and they get to put it on to make their own version of a palm tree. This was an activity that I did in small group. So over here is the bucket that we used this week for the art. So they have some trunks here, they have their paper here. Underneath they have the cupcake liners, the glues, and then stickers. What we did is we ask them how many letters are in their name. They get to pick how many stickers they need, and then we'll come over. Some of them could write their own letters, some of us we wrote for them. And then the example is here, and when they finish this year, we let them come and draw on the whiteboard. And then the Play-Doh Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, we just have some fun colors here. We have our letter cutouts, we have our letters that we're gonna use in lots of different areas. Cutters, rollers, sticks to make a tree, little pipe cleaners they can put it in the top of the tree and then slide the letters onto it. And then my favorite is the sensory bin. So these are fillers, just like last week, those blue ones. These are also from Lakeshore. They're just like spaghetti noodles. Underneath we have some of the green peas, and then we have these letters, and they can use these to put the letters on. Okay, and then for math whole group, remember these are just quick lessons. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we did a dot activity, and then we listened to the number 4 song, and then we made a poster about the number 4. And then yesterday we had a fire drill, so we didn't get to a math type group or a literacy like whole group. We did our small groups because I feel like those are more valuable than the whole group, so we always get to small group no matter what. We try our best. And then today for our mini lesson, we made groups of kids with 4, which was actually challenging. They thought that it was 5 and we had to regroup, so whatever. And then tomorrow for our big activity for math, we actually are using that time block to go to our STEM lab that our school has. So we're just gonna explore the STEM lab. We don't really have like a STEM activity to do. And then for our literacy, we have been Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. So we obviously read Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. We also read a district book of always, sometimes, never, and did some vocabulary with the word never. And then tomorrow for our activity, we're gonna do shared writing of something that they always like to do. So if I have time tomorrow, I'll come back on and tell you how that went, but I'll see you guys soon. Woo, we made it. It's Friday and I am pumped. We're already halfway through the day. Today has been insane. We did get to go to the STEM lab, and like the timing of it, and just, oh my gosh, it was a lot. It was fun, but it was a lot. Anything different with this age group is like excitement level here, changes up the routine. It's like chaos, but if we keep going, it's gonna get better. So we had breakfast this morning as normal, and then right after breakfast, we cleaned up and we walked to the STEM lab because it's in the middle school building, which is like on the other side of campus, and it's on the second floor, so we had to practice going upstairs. And then when we got there, we were like waiting, and some of our friends, you know, they're still learning how to wait. But nonetheless, he got there, he had a cool little like Lego robot that would dance, and then if you put your hand in front of it, it would stop, so they loved that. They thought that was so cool. And then they got to use a coding mouse for like going to the 5 cents, so they had to find the nose, and then they put the cheese on the nose, and they had to get the mouse to like press the certain arrows. And you know, obviously it takes practice and having someone at each station to help the kids at each station. But one of our students was crying, and he's kind of nonverbal, like he talks a little bit, but he hasn't really opened up to us quite yet, and so we thought he was just like nervous to be in the environment. And then he was like, I want to go home. So like I said, kind of nonverbal. So I grabbed his hand, I said, come with me. And like we walked over towards the window, and then he threw up. So he was clearly not feeling good. I was like, oh gosh, in the middle of like all these kids trying to do this coding thing. And I'm sure you can imagine. So Miss Sam took him to the clinic, and then it was like me and the STEM guy, and then another teacher actually ended up coming in and helping, and it was just a lot. We got back to class, it was like 9:30, and I was like, nap time? Is it nap time? It was not nap time. So then it's also a little girl's birthday, so we did the sun, and we do that song that goes, the earth goes around the sun, the earth goes around the sun. It's been a whole year, your birthday's here, the earth goes around the sun. And then they rotate the sun for how many years old they are. So we did that in our morning meeting, and then the STEM took forever. So we basically like did our morning meeting, and then we went straight into shared writing, and then we went into playtime because that's all they could handle. I could tell that the level was, it's not worth it to try and do any major instructional like whole group if they're not listening anyway. So flexibility and responsiveness. It's also wear a college shirt day. So we're all wearing our college shirts for the start of football, even though I don't really even like to watch football, but I'm all about a good dress up day. And last week's video, somebody had a question about like what shared writing looks like in pre-K and all that, and if it was whole group, and it is whole group for me modeling. Like I put the question out there, and this week it was, what is something you always like to do? Because we learned the word always in our book. And you know, during that time, I am talking out loud. They're all on the rug watching me draw my picture of what I like to do. I'm talking about what I'm drawing and how I'm drawing it. And then I wrote my sentence, I always like to read a book outside. And then still in whole group, we go through and each person shares what they always like to do. So they have their idea, and then they go to their seats, and that's like independent work. They're just drawing their picture while me and Miss Sam are walking around asking them again, what did you draw? And depending on their level, we might write the whole sentence for them, or we might let them fill in the blank. Like I said, those 3 kids that are ready to sound out words. One of the little girls again sounded out like the whole sentence, and it was like a string of letters, but you could see the sounds of the string of letters. So she's gonna get it. I'm pretty impressed with her. I feel like I'm rambling. There's so much going on. I definitely am ready for nap time. I'm also ready for happy hour at the end of the day. Let's see. The only thing that I haven't talked to you guys about is our science time. We've been doing 5 senses, and so each day we did one of the senses. On Tuesday, we did smell, so we just had little cups. I don't have them anymore because we're done with that. And they smelled like lemon juice and vanilla, and they just made a guess. Very quick. It wasn't like a response paper. We literally just passed it around, made our guesses, and that was it. Same with the next day. It was hearing. We did little like tubes, toilet paper tubes, tissue paper with numbers, and we shook it and we guessed what it was, opened it up, big reveal. And then yesterday was feeling, and I have black socks, and I just put toys inside of the black sock. They had to feel it, guess what toy was inside, big reveal. Today is taste. And so for taste, we have a sour thing. We have Sour Patch. We have chocolate chip for sweet. And then we have crackers for salty. And we're literally just gonna taste them to describe what it tastes like. Like when I taught kindergarten and first grade, we did like worksheets to go with it and all that. Like we're just hitting that basic level. They love it. It's fun. It's engaging. And we only have like 10 minutes to do it. So that's it. That was a lot. We also, I'll give you a sneak peek, but we did an apple orchard at our dramatic play. I'm gonna do a whole tour on that very, very, very soon. Miss Sam knocked it out of the park. Our parents donated so many things, and I made all the little like digital resources that go with it, and I actually put it on my store as well. So when I share all that, I'll share with you how you can do it too, because it's easy as long as you have people to donate, because it can get expensive to change that out. But anyways, I'm happy it's Friday. I know it's when you're watching this, it's not Friday, but happy Friday to me. And I hope you had a great Friday when you were at school too. If you like this video, don't forget to give it that big thumbs up. Click that subscribe button and that notification bell, and I will see you very soon. Bye.